It is no secret that in today's global economy, the nature of work is always changing and some employers resist unions. However, did you know in today's ever-evolving world, workers have less power when they act individually? But acting together as a group can have real change. Strong unions are the collective voice of employees, using their power to ensure the rights of workers under the law are protected in the global Canadian society. Good evening, everyone. My name is Jordana and my partner's name is Maya, and today we'll be discussing why strong unions are good for the Canadian society and also have a negative impact as well. I will be taking on the role of how strong unions are good for the Canadian society. After decline for many years, the support of unions has rebounded more than ever in today's current society, and now a growing number of Canadians continue to prosper and say yes to unions. Here in Canada, unions have been and remain essential for our democracy. They use their platform to actively practice and implement actions that can result in a better and fairer work environment, as they understand the importance of how a strong union can unify a society. The union advantage is clear. Strong unions allow for higher wages for all unionized workers. On average, several union workers are able to be getting paid a standard $5.50 an hour, which would mean 23% more than those who are not in a union. This advantage is seemingly more higher for women and lower paid professions. According to BC FED, in 2013, unionized workers in BC earned an average of $5.60 more an hour than non-unionized workers. But unions is more than higher wages. Through the use of collective bargaining, unions are able to equalize wages between workers and different sectors, helping close the income wage gap. In a union, the area of their work is very vast and continues to change with growing needs. Protecting workers on the job, ensuring more transparent pay rates, promoting policies, and facilitating negotiations with management are just some examples of how unions can represent a greater equality and democracy for unionized workers. As previously mentioned, unions can show a greater equality amongst a strong union in a Canadian society and can provide a higher advantage for women and other lower paid occupations. This means the compensation in unions can be more equitable overall, which higher wages for lower paid workers and less wage gaps for women, younger workers, and racialized employees. Workplace pensions and benefits such as extended health and dental have a major influence on a person's quality of life, and unions can provide these essential needs far more better than across the board for men and women. Over 70% of union workers have access to a workplace pension, compared to less than 30% of non-unionized workers. That is to say that they have better opportunities to health and other benefits than those who are not in a union. For example, according to Statistics Canada, in 2005, 88.5% of all workers in a union received non-wage benefits, such as drug, dental, and vision plans, compared to 68.6% of people who are not in a union. Unionized workers are also more likely to have a full-time, permanent, and to work longer for their employers, ensuring job security and tenure. For example, 14% of union workers are part-time compared to 20% of non-unionized workers, and almost half, 49%, have 10 years of experience with their employers, compared to 35% of non-unionized workers. Union contracts will also include predictable schedules, standard hours of work, and overtime or premium shifts. To conclude, there are many benefits that strong unions can provide to a Canadian society, and unions have paved the way in improving these conditions for all workers. These reasons listed above are not the only benefits unions can suppress, as there are a multitude of more answers and questions unions can bring. Unions are more important today than they ever were, and belonging to one gives workers the rights under the law that a person may not have individually.
Thank you, Jordana. And now I will be talking to you about negative impacts that unions have. We all know that unions are beneficial for society, but have you ever thought about the disadvantages that unions can have on employees and organizations? Did you know that union employees can file a suit against employers if he or she is demoted or suspects harassment or discrimination? This is in fact a true case where employees can have full support to take action on such events. One of the primary disadvantages of having a union in an organization is the labor cost is prone to increasing. Union employees are paid on average 22% more than non-union equivalents. When it comes to collective bargaining, employees have the freedom to talk among themselves before sending a representative on their behalf to discuss wages, benefits, and working conditions, which can all cost a higher production cost. Employees that are part of a union are legally allowed to strike if they don't agree with the wage, benefits, or workplace rules set by the union members. When employees decide to strike, the federal laws restrain employers from firing those workers. A strike causes loss in money due to loss of production, as well as other problems such as decrease in sales from bad publicity. With a union workforce, employers might have little control to promote employees based on accomplishment, worthiness, or productivity. Several unions apply for workplace rules that protect unions based on seniority rather than merit. With that said, if employers want to terminate a group of employees due to lack of productivity, they're required to terminate the workers that were last hired. Additionally, employers have less power to instruct workers when it comes to dealing with poor performers. Employees in a non-union organization can freely approach managers to discuss wages, increases, benefits, package, or contracts. The opportunity to negotiate openly with a manager can link to increased productivity in employees. In a union workplace, employees need to go through the union to negotiate any term of wage, benefits, and contracts. Since the union conveys for the entire union membership, individual employees can miss out on opportunities. And finally, to conclude, non-union workplaces give more freedom to employees and employers when it comes to wages, benefits, and employee contracts. It allows for higher productivity in organization and costs less to employers when it comes to business perspective. Non-union workplaces allow for a better relationship between the employer and the employee and allow for a better control when it comes to staffing and termination.